Hello and welcome to FPL Weekly. Don't have an international break now for a while, which is great. The game is ramping
Mm.
up nicely. Got a million deadlines in the next 6 weeks, which is good. We both had a pretty solid week. I beat Jens by 1 point, but we both
Did
take
you?
it. I
What
said
did
6
you
out
have?
of 55. 6 out of 55.
I had 55 and you were 56. Is that right?
Yeah, I said I
Yeah.
beat by 1 point. Good on, mate.
Yeah.
But like we always say,
Sorry,
I
it's
get
hard to
anything
scroll that far down on.
in the league. Yeah, fair enough. Just second. BTS. Anyway. Um. So with swiftly on, what was I saying? I always say, and we always say that personally, if I get more than 10%, if I add on the 10% onto the average and I get more than that, I'm happy. I'm happy. The average is 45. Call it 50 with the people that know roughly what they're doing. I've got six more than that. Fine.
Yeah.
Gordon was really nice because was I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm a chopping block, but I did consider Gordon out instead of Diaby out. So in a tough fixture, I expected nothing from him. So
hmm
for him to deliver in a fixture where I didn't really expect anything from him, and still a differential by the way, was really nice. And like I said,
I
loads of
am.
people don't have him.
I'm pretty shocked at his ownership, if I'm being
Yeah,
perfectly honest.
he's the
Mainly
most transferred in
because
player this year.
he's most transferred in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like, and
that's
but
him
that
and
just
Boomer.
that
Him and
but
Boomer.
but that just reeks um
Egypt.
of knee jerk. Like
He had a great week. And everyone's
I'm
like, oh, I need him.
Yeah, but he's been having great weeks before. His numbers have
Yeah,
been great. His everything's great. His price
yeah,
is really good. He's
yeah.
nailed on to play. Like
That's
everything is.
I think the biggest thing is his name. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so and plus Newcastle, apart from the Botman situation, they've tended to be quite transparent with who and where things are up to. And I think, quite honestly, they didn't really know where they were up to with the Botman situation, but they've
Yeah,
been really open about Wilson. So, like, they're a good team to be involved with because you know where you stand with them.
yeah. Mhm.
So, and their run is getting good now. Their run gets good.
Yeah, it does get good. It does get good. We're still kind of riding the wave slightly. So really quickly, they've got United at home, average. Everton away, okay. Further away, not great. Then it's good. 17 up to 17 is good. They have a nice little, it's kind of on and off. They go like bad now, then good, then
No,
bad, then good
no,
again. So they've got
but
17 not 17 to 19 is outrageous. Fulham at home, Luton away, Forest at home, outrageously good. But then they've got Liverpool away, City at home, bad. Villa away, bad. But then they're back on good again. Luton at home, Forest away, Bournemouth at home. So it's fine. But what I'm saying is it goes through good spell, bad spell, good spell, bad spell. But
mhm,
I think
mhm.
what it really did, what that haul did, obviously it helped my rank, but not only that, more importantly, it kind of solidified Gordon in my team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kind of, he basically said to me, "This is why you have me in your team."
yeah,
So he's gone from a simmering fire in my team to no fire.
yeah,
I've just
yeah.
decided to have him instead of Saka, basically. And I think I saw a really good tweet, and I did want to mention this, and I sent it to you. In that there's a bit of a template forming where template for, I know you don't have Sane, you don't have Watkins, but that's only just a wild card. The template seems to be Haaland, Watkins, and you either go cheap forward or you go cheap midfielder. You either
hmm
go Saka Archer or you go like Gordon and play or blank and then you play three up top. So because I was lucky enough to have the value, I can have kind of a bit of both pies, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
basically, I just decided to go Gordon instead of Saka, and that means I can go Darwin instead of Archer. And that's the way I prefer to go. I would rather take on a Saka than a Darwin slash Isak, personally.
hmm
But I completely understand the people that have Saka. I get it. I'm not stupid. Very good player. They've
Yeah.
got a great pitch to run. He should be on pens. But that seems like the template that's formed. Haaland, Watkins, Palmer, and Bumo, Salah, Son seem
Hmm.
like fairly template. And then the two other spots are up for grabs. Gordon, Jose before he get injured. Saka,
Hmm.
throw someone random in there, Diaz or whatever. And then the up top spot is either a blank, which is Archer, or it's a Darwin, or it's an Isak, or
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
Alvarez. Alvarez.
But there's other players like Palmer's going to come in, who's going to be an absolute lock in so many
Yeah, well,
people's
he's part of the
teams.
template. He's part of the four. It's Palmer, Salah, Son, and Boomer, which is going to be 90% of well engaged managers' template.
I think, yeah. I don't think I can argue with that, to be perfectly honest.
And like I said, the only reason you haven't got Son and Watkins is because you missed the boat. Really, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Missed the boat. I got them in and I got the value. And yes, you got all points for me, which is more important.
Watkins, I never missed the boat. I actually chose against it because I went with Darwin.
Yeah.
And
I bought him 7.9. He's now 8.4. It's a big ask, isn't it now?
It'd be interesting to go back and see. I'll go back and see when I got Darwin in. Hold the phone. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my week dead quick. I was pretty content with regards to my Jesus. I've had Darwin in for so long.
He's done all right for you. He's done all right. What I would say, he's
game week 5. Game week 5.
Wow.
If I would have brought in Watkins then, I would be printing money.
Yeah, it was his big haul against Brighton really that kind of changed things and really thrust him into the spotlight, if you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At that point, it was only 7.9, and I was 8.5.
Yeah. So yeah, I felt that it was a half decent week. How people did so bad this week, like. I really don't know how people did so bad.
Some people just got things wrong a little bit. So James was unlucky. Quite a few brought him in, -3. A lot of people captained Son, which
karma.
Like, you've done well this week against Son. Now I don't care that much because of my captain, but I feel for the Son captain. Like, they have to sharpen. Not a non-Son owner has done very well this week. That could have been carnage. And even Watkins, he got his goal, he got 5 points. God, that could have been a lot more. So it is what it is. I'm not moaning, but all that did, if anything, was kind of solidify them in my team a little bit more. But I think, coming to where do people go wrong? Cash got hauled at half time. A lot of people had Diaby who got hauled at half time, and Bumo blank. Palmer did nothing. A lot of people captained Son. People had Eze like me. So yeah, we avoided a lot of fires this week. That's why. And look, the main reason why we did well this week is we had Gordon, and he is, very lowly owned, even though he's the most transferred player in this week. He's still only
the other person who was really nice for me in particular was I had Bruno Fernandes. Now, my heart sank when he gifted Marcus Rashford the penalty. He frigging wrapped up the ball and sent it to him for Christmas.
That would have been an 8-point goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 8-point goal, because it would have been a 3-point bonus, etc., etc. So then I would have been I'd changed his 6 to a 14, and I am 60 odd points.
If Gordon was just a blank, then we finished below average. So Gordon was the main reason. And like I said, he's 13% owned now. He was probably 10% owned at the time of the game. Here's the thing as well. Of that 10%, how many of that 10% started him? 8-9%. So 8-9% of the game started him. So like I said, that was key really. And then I kind of chipped in with Salah assist. Not everyone has him. Watkins, Cole, Porro assist. He nearly went mad as well, by the way. He's a great option. I know we have him, but people that are listening that don't have Porro, get Porro. Because his roof is so high.
He's a little
The
bit of a
Arsenal
lock.
clean sheet.
He's a little bit of a lock, isn't he, for the season, really, Porro?
He's a lead from this league, yeah. Unless something crazy happens, he's a lead. Arsenal clean sheet. If you don't, anyone that doesn't have an Arsenal defender needs an Arsenal defender.
Yeah.
I'm considering, as a lot of other content creators are, 2 Arsenal defenders. So not yet, but my cash would be to Saliba or Zinchenko, I think, if I was to do it. If I was to do it this week, if I had 2 transfers, and I realised I wanted to cash out, Arsenal would be my priority. It would be Saliba or Zinchenko. But I just don't need to put out that fire this week. Something I may do next week. But, and then Chelsea from.
So we are still in the middle of a lot of bad runs. City are currently still in their bad run. Not that you'd know with Haaland, by the way. Then you've got Newcastle.
All the non-Haalanders are suffering, which is great because they should be suffering.
Yeah.
They deserve to suffer. I thought they could beat the Matrix.
Newcastle are a little bit in a bad run of fixtures. Chelsea are in a bad run of fixtures. Give it 2 game weeks, all of this changes. And please, I endeavour you to be really looking at it, because those 4 game weeks, if you're not setting your team up for those kind of players to be coming in, your Cities, your Newcastles, your Chelseas, then I think this is going to be a big swing, to be honest. Chelsea have looked hot and cold, but when they've looked hot, they've looked really hot, really hot.
The fixtures from 16 are outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous. And so yeah, I think you probably need to start jumping before you get pushed into those teams, really. Now, I'm in a position where I'm in top 60k, and one of the reasons why I am in there is because I didn't get sucked into Chelsea's good fixture swing at the start of the season. I only ever had Chilwell, whereas you, for example, had Gusto, James, and Jackson, and I did really well.
Jackson was a bit unlucky.
I did really well about not owning them then. So people, you'd maybe ask, why am I looking to go into them more? Well, I'm going into them more now because I know more. Like, you can take James on, you can have him, but if you don't have him, he's also probably not essential. Whereas previously it was like, he's essential. For me personally, it's Palmer is the most nailed on. Then you've got to probably go with another,
Sanchez or Colwell or James.
Yeah. And Kunku is obviously a wait and see. It could be ridiculous, mate. It could.
And a lot of people are talking about Sterling, but I don't think you need Sterling and Palmer personally.
No. And if you're gonna choose between the two, then you're gonna go with Palmer, because one is on penalties.
1.7 and he's on penalties.
Yeah. So, but I would never laugh at someone's team who had Sterling in it.
I agree. Completely agree.
So, little bit of where I'm kind of up to with regards to transfers. I've got 2 transfers this week, and I will be using them. People will again say, why am I doing this? He's just started to trend in the right direction, but Bruno's time is up. Man United's fixtures turn a little bit. They've got a massive game against Bayern Munich now in the just thinking about it, those games we're recording this on Wednesday evening. Those games are currently on. If that Bayern Munich game remains as a draw, that could mean that they're struggling.
Yes, they would have to beat Bayern.
I know, but even if they beat Bayern, they still might not go through.
The other result, yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Let's just have a
4-4-5. I think it's Galatasaray's far. United are on the same amount of points as Copenhagen.
No,
Sure.
they're not. They're on 4. The United are on 4. If they get a draw 5, then basically it's a shootout
As
between.
of right now, all the Bayern games they're both on 4. So obviously, if Copenhagen get a point, which is projected, they're on 5.
Yeah. Which means it's.
But even so, Copenhagen have the better head-to-head against United.
Yeah.
So if they finish level, Copenhagen would go through. So, yeah. If they drew against Bayern, it wouldn't be enough, would it?
No.
Copenhagen have a better.
So they need to win.
Yeah. They
So,
need to be Bayern, yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is the
They
league.
do beat Bayern. They should go through.
Then, well, no, it's then dependent on what happens
They need a draw. Copenhagen,
So basically, they're out, really.
Yeah, they need to beat Bayern and hope the other games are draw. Very
and they could end up being out because they could finish bottom.
But I still think they'll treat the game seriously because they'll want Europa probably.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm saying is that game is massive for Man United. So therefore, you're kind of thinking to yourself that, and the fixtures in the league get poor. So yeah, 8.3. His time is up. I do want to thank him. He's been all right. He's been okay. Yeah. It's just he's just cost me 8.5 to have in my team.
Got a lot of slack, but he's ticked along. And like I said to you earlier, he will always tick along because he's a very good player. He's very nailed.
And he's a semi-differential.
And he is on penalties. He just gave one up, but I'm confident he takes the next one.
Yeah. So he's out.
And the other reason why you're selling him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellow card.
Oh, shine a light. Yeah, sorry. He has got 4 yellow cards. So not that is like an acutely thing that I need to like massively address, but it's a worry. It's a worry. You don't want a person who's 8.3 if you were to look at their fixtures, for example. If their fixtures he dodged this week, he then gets a yellow card against Chelsea at home. Well, then the main reason why you'd keep him is for Bournemouth at home, and he's suspended for it. You'd be gutted. There's a good chance that it's either going to be Chelsea at home that he's not available for, or Bournemouth at home that he's not available for. It's going to be one of them 2 games, isn't it? So,
rumours people are saying that he's going to get booked against Chelsea because then he can only miss Bournemouth and it's not as big a game. But we'll see. I mean,
but that's what I mean. You'd hate for that kind of shit to be going on, wouldn't you?
Exactly, because you want Bruno at home against Bournemouth, but that's the game that he'll probably miss because if he's doing it strategically, United would rather miss him in a lesser game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really quickly, while we're on this subject, I want to quickly throw out some names. They're on 4 yellows for the listeners because I think it's quite informative and something that people may not have known. So obviously, when you get to 5 yellows, you get suspended. Bruno's on 4. I'm going to not pick out everyone. We're going to pick out some names. Braithwaite's on 4. Some people might have him as their full-moon defender. Cash is on 4. Dunk's on 4, but that's not particularly relevant. We've got a person with long stuff. He's on 4, but that's not particularly relevant. Douglas Luiz, a lot of people have him. He's on 4. Sterling's on 4, and Trippier's on 4. There's quite a few there that are on 4. Just keep an eye on that.
There's quite a few that would be in your team. Trippier.
Yeah.
Sterling.
Cole Palmer's on 3. Ooh, he's getting there. The same is on 3. Look, we don't need to look too much into the 3s, but really quickly the 3s: Doggy, Palmer, Bernardo Silva, Matoma, Sells, Wang. About it. Yeah, Trent. Palmer on 3. Wouldn't put me off getting him, but again,
it's not going to be. It would definitely not put me off getting him, but and plus he is cheap enough that you can sit on your bench. Like, whereas 8.5's worth sitting on my bench is a little bit heartbreaking. And that's why.
Trippier's going to miss a game, and that's people are paying $7 million for him. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that's where. And then Nketiah again. Jesus has come back slightly earlier than we kind of anticipated. But he came in, he got that hat trick. Yeah, he owes us absolutely nothing. So transfer him out, and I will be going with Isak. Isak is the choice for me.
So yeah, really quickly my plans. So speaking last week, I did the Eze move, which was going to go to Palmer because the way the fixtures turned really nicely. And then hindsight, I regret it, of course, because I'd rather just go Palmer. But I know he's going to get injured. So the thing is, like I said, is I was going to go to Palmer anyway. I just might have to do it a bit sooner. So it's not a wasted transfer. It's just a transfer I might have to bring forward. I'm either doing Eze to Palmer, or again another little nugget of information here for you. There's no early kickoff this weekend, so there's 3 games you should get team news for. And those 3 games, well, let's start with the 2 that aren't particularly relevant. Burnley and Sheffield United. I'm actually starting Charlie Taylor, but I'm expecting him to start. Brentford Luton, only really in Boomo that people care about. He plays every game, not that important. And Arsenal Wolves. And Ketia, if he starts, and I know he starts, I don't need to take him out I don't need to take him out this week because he's a great differential against Wolves at home. But if he's on the bench, then I will be going to Darwin, and it's a close one for me between Darwin and Isak. And I was actually even 3 days ago. I was in the Isak camp, and I love Isak, and I'm very fond of him. And if I was playing a wild card, I would have Darwin and Isak. But someone mentioned it to me. Someone mentioned it on a YouTube video the other day that you can go to Darwin and you could go to Isak from there because Darwin's next.
I know,
good, but terrible.
But that's burnt you like this week.
But it's only because he got injured. Yeah, so it's still interestingly it hasn't put me off doing it again.
Really?
Look, if I get Darwin in and it explodes, value goes up. If I get Darwin in for these games and he does nothing, then I'll take him out for Isak in better games. So I want to give him a chance. Darwin excites me. Isak does as well. But the only thing I'd say as well is Isak's minutes worry me slightly based on the amount of football they have. I know you have some as well, but arguably theirs is more important. You're going to play around a bit tomorrow, aren't you? With your team, probably. They can't really afford to do that. Every game they've got in the Champions League is massive. A massive Carabao Cup game coming up. But is he going to play 90 in every Champions League game, every Premier League game, and Carabao Cup game after just being injured? I doubt it. So he's going to get a rest in one of them. So look, I'm not trying to put you off him, but with the Jota news, might miss one game for Gakpo. But it'd be pretty unlucky if it's Salah, Diaz, Gakpo that often. Very, very unlucky. So I think the Jota news is only a good thing for Darwin, and it's now or never, though, is what I'd say. You have to get him in now because it's Fulham at home, and the next 3 are really good. You get him now.
I would suggest as well a little kind of piece of advice, and we don't really say this overly often, but I think that now this is out of the outfielders, this is a 12-man squad you need as a minimum. Well, not as a minimum, sorry, as a baseline. That is par. If you're going in with 11 outfielders with only 1 rotation player, you probably need to address that. I know you've got Lamptey, who is a little bit of a dud for you.
He's long-term.
Well, because he's long-term injured. I think that if you did have a free week, I probably would look to change that.
He's just not priority at the moment. He's something I pre-booked him to Colville. Really. I just don't need to yet because he can just sit there. He's like your Luton.
Bell. That's why I have Bell. Yeah. So I just would say that with the fixture congestion that's coming up now and then around Christmas and New Year, it's a very, very, very it's a time where you basically can look at it and say to yourself, this is good, this is going to get messy, and you're going to be thinking that you're all fine, dandy, and the Haaland will get dropped, and you'll think that you're fine, and so there's value, and this is where there's players like Saka, for example, where his value is even more because he is really nailed. Because so if you're going in with someone like Martinelli, for example, I don't think it's the time to be punting on someone like that just because of the quantity of fixtures. So
the amount of good options that are nailed, like a Boomer, who's just utterly nailed on penalties with a good fixture.
Yeah, and that's where Chelsea are good as well. Chelsea are brilliant because they've got no Europe. So
yeah, exactly.
And
I just can't see Palmer getting dropped.
And you know when you go back to Poch, he always used to play with a really, really, really small squad at Spurs. So I think he's quite happy to just basically leave people like that. The guy who was at Spurs, then he went to Holland, and Madueke. We've not seen him at all this year.
No, not at all. No.
And it's because basically Potts probably doesn't fancy him, and he's happy to go into the season with Jackson and Kunko. He's happy to have Mudryk, Sterling, Palmer, and then midfielders. That's what he's happy to do. So I think that we can trust Chelsea a little bit at the moment, which is a great thing, right? Because they've got good fixtures and their price is rock bottom for really good assets.
So yeah, just really quickly. So like I say, I'll be waiting for team news, which we should get. And if Nketiah starts, then I will just do Palmer to Eze. If doesn't start, then I will do Darwin to Nketiah. If I don't hear of any news, then I will probably do Darwin to Nketiah. Well, interesting. I've been keeping an eye on it all night. It's just flashed up. Nketiah's just come on for Jesus, but it's after 82 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So Gabriel Jesus has played 82, and Nketiah's going to play 10. It was a bit annoying for me because I'd rather, if Jesus came off at half time for Nketiah, then I know Jesus is starting. The fact he's played 82 minutes. Could Nketiah start against Wolves? He definitely could.
Of course he could. But like,
the longer term he's going, of course. But like I say, I just don't need to do it this week.
Yeah, I mean,
if he's starting, if we get the news 5 minutes before the deadline, 10 minutes before the deadline, Nketiah starts. He's a great differential this week.
Yeah,
it would mean I'm missing out on Darwin against Fulham. Yes.
I mean, I don't need to go to Isak this week to.
No. Going to go, for me, it's Darwin now or it's Darwin never.
Would you have Nketiah at home against Wolves or Isak at home against United? You'd probably have Nketiah.
If I knew starting, yeah.
And if you can know he's starting, yeah, that's a good point.
I kind of.
But you don't. United at the 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I kind of hope the Jesus starts, and then I can just do the move. Then Nketiah starts, I'm like, oh, really? I do really want to do this, but at the same time, I don't want to do moves I don't think I need to do. The issue with that is, it's another week gone by. Do I then go Nunes when I've just missed the home game? Don't know.
I do want to highlight something with regards to the Liverpool game. And by the way, I think you need to go with Darwin, mainly for that Sheffield United game. It could be carnage.
Bournemouth got 3.5 XG at Sheffield United. Bournemouth.
Yeah. But
No
yeah,
disrespect, they ain't Liverpool. Carnage.
yeah. The other last thing that we want to talk about before we finish is captain. So at the moment, it's on Haaland, and they are at home to Tottenham. Now Tottenham's defence is poor at the moment. I think they do get Sanchez back. Is that right? For this game, from his suspension.
Sanchez.
No, Romero.
No, he's missing for City game. No Romero. Yeah, no Romero. No Van de Ven.
Wow.
So it could be if we play like he did against Villa, then it will be Ben Davis and Emerson Royale, something like that. Exactly, on a high line. And the other caveat, and I know this is a bit of a storyline, but this is what I think will happen. Postecoglou's come out and said we will play the same regardless of the team. So what he's basically saying by that is we will have a go. E.g., we're going to play a high line with 4 fullbacks and no Bentancur, who's a key player for them. So with that, I'm definitely going Haaland. And I understand people saying it's close. For me, it's not close.
Well, and the other thing as well, as a Liverpool fan, we have never really done so well against Fulham. So, but anyway.
Yeah, for me, it's not close as Haaland, but just based on Spurs' defensive issues, who they've got missing, and this is going to sound so stupid. I love Haaland more than the average person. I think he's even better than people think he is.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's just me. I love him. So any excuse for me to captain him, if ever it's close, I'm going Haaland. Like I captained him against Chelsea away when everyone thought it was a bad idea. So and he still got 16 points. So he's never a bad idea. He's unbelievable. And he was unlucky against Bournemouth. He got injured. He got taken off half time. Fine. But let's not let that affect your decision making. We are witnessing one of, if not the best striker we've ever seen. He is that good. Yeah. He's ripping up every record at his age we've ever seen. So we could be witnessing something incredible. And I think I would argue people are maybe taking him for granted a bit. Even I know the talk. People know he's great, but I think he's even better than people think he is. And he'll score and people will go, oh yeah, that's what he does. But then let's make the most of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think the non-Hollanders are wild, personally. I love him as a player. Any excuse for me to captain, I'll captain him. Plus, like I say, mainly the Spurs' defensive issues. I feel like he's turned the corner a bit as well. He had a couple of games where he was off a bit, but it never takes more than a couple of games. So it's Haaland captain for me all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. And for me, it will be Haaland. And we move forward from there. So
going forward, please keep an eye, everyone, on the blank. This is coming up in Game Week 18 with no City and no Brentford. As we talked about pre-doing this, you need to plan ahead. And slightly further ahead of that, African Cup of Nations and Asia Cup. So you need to be wary going forward of players like Salah, who's going to AFCON, and Mbumo's going to AFCON. I've got Son, who's going to Asia Cup. Homer's going to Asia Cup. So, quite a lot of players that are quite highly owned are going to go missing for between 2 to 4 game weeks. I have 3 of them, so I'm going to have. And look, by then I might not have 3 of them, like you said, but I may have to carry one through, which is going to be a bit tricky for me. But it's going to be less tricky for you because you're going to be wildcarding. You're going to be wildcarding players in that haven't got either of those, and no Asia Cup, no AFCON. But you're also going to be targeting Brentford and City, who should have a double. Should be announced this week, game week 20.
Exactly that. So we're really trying to schedule. Now it's going to be a bonkers period for us. So we're really trying to schedule in a pod in between 13 and 14, 15.
Just really quickly as well before we go. This week is the Saturday deadline. Game week 15 is Tuesday night deadline.
Yeah. So we're gonna really try and get this out, get another pod done on.
Ideally, we record Monday if we can.
But I thought it was Sunday.
So this game week is Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
second and third.
Well, that's what I mean.
Deadline
I think
for the next game is Tuesday night. If we record Tuesday, we won't be able to get it out Tuesday.
no, if we record on Sunday night, then we can get it out Monday.
Record Sunday night, yeah, because we'll have the late fixture City Spurs on the Sunday. So we record Sunday. We do record Sunday night. Get Monday. That'll make sense.
Yeah. That's our plan anyway, guys. We've got a fun Sunday night. But yeah,
Mate,
quick turn.
honestly, games are coming up thick and fast. It's
Thick and fast.
2nd of December, 5th of December, 9th, 15th, 21st, 26th, 30th. Garnish.
So yeah, and thank you so much for listening. And we move on. And by the way, Mr. GTF.
Mate, I don't care. We're first and second. We're splitting the profit. Fine by me. I couldn't care less.
We are winning GTF, baby.
Honestly, I don't want to get too confident because we look nailed in that thing. When you look at like the team in fourth, they've given up. Oh, you should see the team that's given up. We'll love you and leave you. We don't want to bore you to tears for the end of this. When we go off air, we'll have a look at the team that's given up. Thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.